3 minutes. That's all it took to flip my world upside down. 3 minutes where the so-called queen of our neighborhood physically blocked an ambulance from saving our dying neighbor. And 3 minutes later, I landed a medical helicopter right in the middle of her precious golf course. I swear to you, the look on her face, it was one for the record books, like she'd just seen her whole kingdom crash down from the clouds. And let me tell you, what happened next? Well, justice came from above, loud and clear. You want to know what really happens when suburban power meets a real emergency? Stick around. My name's Benjamin Carter, but folks around here just call me Ben. I'm 35, been flying emergency medical helicopters for 12 years, and if you'd asked me last week, I would have told you I'd seen it all. 4 tours in Afghanistan, more life or death calls than I care to count, enough adrenaline to light up half the county. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for Willowbrook Estates and the reign of Beverly Hutchinson. This whole saga started on a Tuesday that looked normal enough. Sky was cloudless, my brain was fried from a 14-hour shift, and all I wanted was to collapse into bed with a cold beer. Instead, I found myself elbow-deep in grease, cussing at my stubborn lawn mower, listening to the soundtrack of Suburbia, dogs barking, TVs blasting, Mrs. Chen's piano echoing through the night. Then, right as I'm about to give up and admit defeat to that stupid engine, I hear it, a sound that cuts right through. The fog of exhaustion, something that triggers every combat instinct in my body. Not a crash, not a scream, but a desperate, broken cry for help. At first, I thought maybe Dr. Rose Bennett was just doing her usual late-night rearranging. She's 70, retired cardiologist, always moving furniture at odd hours, which drove Beverly, our HOA president, nuts. But this was different, a muffled thud. Then another cry. I dropped my wrench, wiped my hands, and sprinted across the street. Dr. Rose, I called, pressing my ear to her door, nothing but labored breathing on the other side. Panic started to creep in as I circled to the side, searching for the spare key under her fake rock. It was gone. I looked through the window and saw her collapsed next to her armchair, hand clutched to her chest. That's when I smashed the window, climbed through the glass, and dropped to my knees. Combat training on autopilot. I checked her pulse. Weak, thready, her lips already turning blue. Cardiac event, maybe a heart attack. I called 911, rattling off her vitals like I was back in the field. Unconscious 70-year-old female. Weak pulse, shallow breathing. Need an ambulance, fast. I kept her in the recovery position, talking to her even though she couldn't hear, just counting down the minutes until I'd hear sirens. But as the dispatcher promised help in 12 minutes, I realized a bigger problem, our neighborhood's gate. It locked automatically at 10, and only the HOA president could open it for emergency vehicles. I heard footsteps from the direction of the HOA office, and that's when Beverly stepped out of the shadows, strutting like she owned the universe, remote control in hand, smile colder than winter steel. I called out, "Mrs. Hutchinson, emergency. Dr. Rose needs the ambulance." She checked her watch, cool as a cucumber, and told me, "Mr. Carter, county rules say no emergency vehicles past 10, noise ordinance. You understand. It's in the handbook, section 12B. You ever try to reason with someone so wrapped up in their own authority that they genuinely believe the rules matter more than someone's life?" I pleaded, told her Dr. Rose would die if she didn't get medical help. The ambulance was already at the gate, lights flashing, sirens wailing, blocked cold by Beverly and her remote. She just shrugged, started recording me on her phone. "I'm documenting your threats for the HOA board, Mr. Carter." Threats? I was just trying to save a life. I begged, told her I'd pay any fine. Take the blame, just open the damn gate. She just smiled, said rules are rules, no exceptions, called security, reported an unauthorized emergency vehicle. I felt something snap inside me. Maybe it was exhaustion or memories of bureaucracy costing lives overseas, but I couldn't stand by and let Dr. Rose die over a power trip. So I did the only thing I could. I lifted Dr. Rose, carried her 400 meters through cold October rain to the back gate, slipping, stumbling, praying I wouldn't drop her. Paramedics met me halfway, got her onto the gurney. Her heart stopped for 30 seconds. Felt like 30 years. But they revived her, barely. Lost time, lost chances, all because of Beverly's ego. As the ambulance sped away, I turned to see Beverly still filming. Cool as ever. Thank you for the footage, Mr. Carter. The board will review your disciplinary hearing. Breaking and entering, public disturbance, you'll pay for this. Her heels clicked back toward the HOA office, counting down to my punishment. Standing there soaked to the bone, I realized Beverly had declared war on the wrong man. She might have ruled this kingdom, but she'd never dealt with someone like me. The next morning, I found a letter from the HOA. Official stationery, Beverly's elegant script, for violations listed out. Unauthorized entry, property damage, threats, disturbing the peace, and my favorite, dangerous precedent for emergency protocols. 8 points on their violation scale. 10 means you're out, gone from Willowbrook. A $3,000 fine and a hearing set for Friday. But here's where the twist kicks in. I started digging, cross-referenced public records, looked into past disputes. Turns out, Beverly's been at this for years. 5 families gone, each bullied with fines and violations until they sold cheap. 3 of the houses picked up by Beverly's own relatives, under market value. And the HOA's emails? I noticed technical quirks, digital signatures, metadata pointing to personal accounts, not the official server. Someone, Beverly, with her admin access, was hiding her tracks, manipulating records. I pieced it all together, but I knew I'd need more. That evening, Officer David Torres dropped by, a good guy, the kind of cop who signs up to help. He listened to my story, read the violation letter, and said, "Ben, what she did, blocking emergency access, is a felony, obstruction of services. But you'll need proof." He pointed out Beverly's letter basically confessed her crime, and that was my opening. I spent the next night in my helicopter, rereading Beverly's letter, thinking about Dr. Rose and her grandson Tommy, the one I'd saved 20 years back in a bus crash, the reason she became a doctor herself. The irony stung. Later, taking out my trash, I spotted Beverly's bin at the curb early, found torn-up letters inside, handwritten pleas from her daughter, Madison, begging her to get help before she lost everything. That was my secret weapon. Madison knew the truth. Friday's hearing was like a courtroom drama meets neighborhood mob. 45 people packed in, everyone buzzing about the incident. Beverly presided like a queen, gavel and all, laying out her evidence, selectively edited footage, audio clips, and her inner circle testifying to her virtues. I waited my turn, then laid out the real story. Families driven out, properties sold to relatives, emails faked, funds siphoned to personal accounts. That's when Madison walked in, Beverly's own daughter. Silver hair loose, box of documents in hand. Madison stepped up, voice steady but sad, and read out everything. Bank transfers from HOA funds, altered emails, receipts for personal attorney bills. "You taught me these tricks in college, Mom," she said. "I tried to help you, but I can't watch you hurt more people." The room exploded. Beverly accused me of manipulation, but Madison stood her ground. In the end, a vote, 38-7 in my favor, Beverly's violations tossed, and a full audit of the HOA set in motion. But Beverly didn't give up. 2 days later, I woke to a smear campaign, emails sent at 3:47 a.m. to every resident. She accused me of everything: violence, instability, inappropriate behavior with kids, doctored photos, twisted stories. By 8 a.m., the whole neighborhood avoided me. Parents pulled their children away, and at work, I was put on leave pending an investigation. Felt like my entire life crumbled in a heartbeat. Dr. Rose showed up at the helipad, handed me a faded newspaper clipping, me standing next to her grandson, the boy I'd saved. "You saved his life. You can save your own," she said. "Remind people who you really are." That night, I made 2 calls, one to schedule an emergency helicopter drill, one to Madison. She warned me, "My mom won't stop. She only knows control." I lay awake, listening to distant rotors, knowing tomorrow would be the day I took control back. Monday dawned bright and clear. At 7:45 a.m., I flew my medical helicopter low and slow over Willowbrook Estates, every neighbor watching as I landed smack in the middle of the hallowed golf course, grass flying, engines thundering. Beverly stormed through the crowd, apoplectic, but I live-streamed the whole thing. Thousands watching. Good morning, Willowbrook Estates, I announced. This is an official emergency response demonstration. Last week, false accusations were spread about me. Today, you see the truth. Neighbors blocked Beverly from stopping me. Officer Torres arrived to keep the peace, and Madison walked across the green, calm and determined. It's over, Mom, she said. The lies, the manipulation, they're over. Let me help you. Beverly broke down, sobbing on her knees, the queen dethroned at last. The live stream hit over 2,000 viewers, and the neighborhood watched. As justice landed, literally, from above. Afterwards, people wanted blood. Arrest Beverly, make her pay. But I remembered something an old colonel once told me. Anyone can destroy an enemy. It takes real strength to break the cycle. Madison called, said her mother was in bad shape, lost everything, broken. I met with the DA and Torres, proposed a deal. Beverly resigns, pays restitution, apologizes publicly, gets counseling. In return, I wouldn't pursue civil charges, and I'd ask for leniency. At the next HOA meeting, Beverly stood before everyone, voice shaking, confessed to everything: abuse of power, blocking emergency care, spreading lies. Dr. Rose forgave her, thanked me for showing that real strength means mercy. The room applauded, not for Beverly, but for the idea of healing. 6 months later, Willowbrook Estates found peace again. Dr. Rose, now HOA president, prioritized service and transparency. Beverly, after counseling, volunteered at the food bank, rebuilding her relationship with Madison step by step. I kept my promise. Every few Sundays, I'd land my helicopter on the golf course, just to remind folks that sometimes the rules worth breaking are the ones that put power above people. If you take one thing from this story, let it be this: you never know when you might be someone's emergency landing. You never know when someone needs you to break the rules to save their life. And you never know, showing mercy might just be the bravest thing you'll ever do. So tell me, where do you stand? Justice through mercy? Or should Beverly have faced the full force of the law? Drop your thoughts below, share your own stories of HOA drama, and let's talk about what real justice looks like in our communities.